It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. My friends, there is a band that has been waiting to come onto the channel. A lot of people, especially on our Sunday live streams, have been telling me for months, Doug, you gotta remember, Little Feat. The band Little Feat. So that's the band that we're going to hear music from today. And I'm going to start with their most famous song. We're doing the Dixie Chicken today, y'all. And I have heard this song throughout the years. I'm vaguely familiar with it, but I thought let's start with their most well-known tune and see what the hubbub about Little Feat is all about. And it's spelled F-E-A-T, and it's an homage to the Beatles. I read that today, right? You know how the Beatles have B-E-A-T instead of B-E-E-T? You guys know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's an homage to the Beatles even. So there you go. They formed in 1969 in Los Angeles. And the guy who led the charge is Lowell George. He was their lead vocalist and guitarist. And he had actually played with Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention prior to being in the band. That's really cool. They released 2 albums before recording Dixie Chicken in late 1972. It was released... they recorded it in late 1972. It was released in January of 1973. And this is considered their landmark album and this title track, like I said, their most famous tune. So because I am familiar with it, I'm not going to go for the studio recording. I want to see them doing their thing on stage. So I'm going to look at this live performance from 1977 where they are playing on the Midnight Special television program, and they are joined on stage by Emmylou Harris and Bonnie Raitt, 2 of my very favorite musicians. So I'm excited to see this one, y'all. We've got Lowell George on lead vocals and guitar. Paul Barrere is on guitar and vocals. Bill Payne is on keyboards and vocals. Kenny Gradney is on the bass. Richie Hayward is on the drums. And Sam Clayton is on the percussion. Let's get to it, y'all, and see what the Dixie Chicken is all about. Here's Little Feat. Off we go.
I'd like to introduce some folks who are going to be playing.
They're already in the groove.
Miss Emmylou Harris.
There's Emmylou.
And Miss Bonnie Raitt. And Mr. Jesse Winchester. I seen the bright lights of Memphis.
Let's see where they go. I like this groove.
And underneath the street lamp, I met a southern belle. Oh, she took me to the river where she cast a spell. And in that southern moonlight, she sang the song so well. If you be my Dixie chicken,
I remember. So this is a song that the woman sings to woo the guy. She promises to be his Dixie Chicken if he'll be her Tennessee Lamb. There's Sam on the percussion. That was cool. Percussion. And that's Paul getting a little solo. It reminds me a little bit of just almost like the Grateful Dead, just some groovy southern rock that could just, like on one chord, just go on for a long time.
Guess that guitar player sure could play. She always liked to sing along. She's always
this is where it turns, right? Because the lady has left him.
chance to meet
The bartender says he knows her well. All the boys there at the bar began to sing along.
Be my Dixie chicken, I'll be your Tennessee lamb. We can walk together down Dixie land. Dixie land.
Oh, that's cool. It's over? Well, for a live version, that needed to go on for at least 3 more runs through the progression. What a fun tune, right? So yeah, what I'm talking, so it's always good when I go back to these, even if I've heard them before, because I always thought I'll be your Dixie Chicken or something like that. Like he wants to be the Dixie Chicken for what I see here. So he says, I've seen the bright lights of Memphis at the Commodore Hotel, and underneath the street lamp I met a Southern belle. Oh, she took me to the river where she cast her spell, and in that southern moonlight she sang this song so well, if you'll be my Dixie Chicken, I'll be your Tennessee Lamb. Okay, so the Tennessee Lamb is her, and he's going to be the chicken. Okay, I got to get it straight. So she uses the song to flirt with him, and it works, because in the next verse we go to all the hot spots. There's church bells, there's white picket fence, and yada yada, and on and on. And then in the last verse, many years since she ran away. And then not only does the bartender know who she is, all the boys at the bar also know the song. And that means she knows that song works because she's used it on a bunch of guys. And there's the song. I think it's really a fun rock and roll tune, isn't it? It's got some blues in there. It's got some swing. It's got some pizzazz to it. It's got a lot of character. And I enjoyed it. As I read in, though, and this is more stuff that I didn't really understand before looking into this today, sadly, Lowell, our leader of the band here, would not live too much longer after this performance. This performance was in 1977. He died in the summer of 1979 of a heart attack the morning after he did a gig in Washington, D.C., and they say that the cause of the heart attack was an accidental heroin overdose. So that's really sad. I also read that the band was already going through a difficult time in that time period, and they had already decided to disband earlier that year before their last album was going to be released. And then the band members, after Lowell passed away, they just kind of dispersed and did their own thing for several years. But in 1987, the band was reformed, and they ended up releasing several more albums. In fact, I was astonished. They're still active. They have just released an album called Sam's Place. It's their brand new album released just earlier this month in May of 2024. So good for them. Good for them. It says that that's their first new album in 12 years. And that it's also a blues album. And I think that Sam, the guy that was featured on hand percussion there, is now our vocalist all these years later. I am eager to listen to some of that as well. That sounds interesting to me. And now that I've heard their stuff from like the 1970s, what does the band sound like now? I'd be curious to see that. But that's going to be another episode coming up another time. So that's all for me today, y'all. I thank you for being with me. This has been fun. We'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.